Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the live stream every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about the markets, we'll talk about the crypto news, I'll move some crypto around, and we'll have a good time. So let's see what we got going tonight. All right, guys. Oops. There we go. Welcome to my lair once again. Thanks for joining me. Good news on the Bitcoin front. Bad news, sort of, world issue with coronavirus, COVID-19, they're calling it. Bad for the stock markets, apparently. But the Bitcoin market has kind of not really been following the pattern. It did go down last week, but now it's up again, back over 9,000. So let's see what's going on. I got some great news stories for you. Ledger Live has a new version out, so I'm going to demo that. So let's jump in. All right, see where we are here. All right. First thing I'll do is pop out chat and see who's here. Quite a few already. So let's pop out chat. Let's bring it over here. Enough of this delayed me that you're looking at. Okay, it didn't work. I need to... I was pressed for time right at the end there, right before we got started, and I was trying to adjust my resolution. Unsuccessfully, apparently. All right, let's see here. Get that. Say, keep changes. Thank you. All right, now you got my whole screen, and we can have a dialogue here. Let's get rid of this thing. I hate shortcuts on my desktop. I just hate them. All right. So I just upgraded my anti-malware before we got started here. All right. Tig, good morning. Great Caper, good evening. Pardon me. You may be morning where you're at. Sean Bryan, hello. Cameron B, thanks for joining. Celtic FC fan, hello. Another repeat viewer, repeat offender, maybe. LTC Perosi, another repeat. Thanks for joining me. I did make a video about Ledger Live this morning and posted it. So I'll send you a link to that. You got it. And we'll talk about Ledger Live 2.0 tonight. Scott Lee is here in Honolulu. Wonderful. Hope you're cooking something good tonight or this afternoon where you are, Scott. Cameron B, thank you. Nice to have you here. Daniel Westra, hello. Default 1.1, hello. Good to have you. Smash the likes. Thanks for being the cheerleader. Juan Zayas, aloha and hello. All right, guys. So wonderful to have everybody here tonight. Yeah, we've got Ledger Live 2.0 working in the house, so we'll check that one out. Crypto.com has a new dust feature. Dust consolidation feature, so that's pretty cool. So before we get too much further into it, guys, please check out my description down below where you'll see all my affiliate links. As I mentioned, Crypto.com, Ledger Nano X, the Brave browser, Binance US, and I've got some interesting links to some other cool stuff that you might want to check out. And then all of the links to the news stories that we'll be covering tonight. So check those out. So let's see where we are. Let's go over to Brave browser. Check out the market. Bitcoin is back up around over 91 now. It's been kind of up and down today, kind of in between 9,000, 9,100 and 9,000. But it seems to be holding steady above 9,000, which is pretty cool. Of course, last week, it dove down from 10 grand. Let's see if we can get that in the chart. Right when the stock market started to tank, we had our, let's see, the 7 days not going to do it. So let's look at a month. All right, so here we were up above 10, right? And then Monday morning, we had that big dive down. And then as we got more into the week, we got even further. We dove below 9,000, and then we were down in the 8,000 range, right? I'm not sure what the low was there. Probably around 85. And then over the last few days, we've sort of had that big boost back up, the pop over 9, just within the last 24 to 48 hours, I guess. I don't know. I guess it was yesterday when I woke up and I had an alert from Binance that Bitcoin was back over 9,000. And it's sort of been holding steady ever since. So good news on the Bitcoin front. And interestingly, there's a lot of talk about whether Bitcoin is damn it, there's a word for it that's not coming to mind right now. When you buy something when things are bad, like gold, right? I forget what they call that damn thing. It's not coming to my brain right now. But it didn't behave that way last week when the stock market started to go down. You know, I had every expectation that Bitcoin was really going to take off from 10.1 up to maybe 11 or 12,000 when things started to look bad for the stock market. But it did not act like that. It sort of fell along with the stock market. So it was not one of those assets that, people trust asset or whatever the hell they call it. Like gold, right? It didn't behave that way. But also this week, when the stock market was continuing to dive, Bitcoin came back up again. So in the last several days, it's been contrarian to the stock market. So whether we can call it hedge, there we go, hedge, whatever, safe haven, that's the one I was looking for. Thank you, safe haven. So it's not really behaving like a typical safe haven, but over the last few days, the Bitcoin market has improved, whereas the stock market has tended to go down. If we discount the Biden bounce of yesterday, it's pretty funny, the Biden bounce. But then it went back down. The stock market went way back down today and then sort of caught a little bit of help towards the end and didn't have a horrible day, but a bad day. All right. So what is Bitcoin compared to other markets? We still don't really know, right? For the crypto believers, the crypto lovers, the crypto hodlers, it has its own. I can't think of anything tonight. I'm just not. The words just aren't coming tonight. Has its own essentials or fundamentals, right? It's based on cryptography. It's decentralized. It's got a limited supply. It's got all that good stuff. According to a lot of other talking heads in the media and in the finance world, it has no fundamentals whatsoever. It is worth nothing, right? It's like air or rat poison or whatever. But Bitcoin has its own fundamentals, and but it's not a company, right? It doesn't have quarterly reports. It doesn't have sales, right? It's just a decentralized currency. So go figure. And it's also driven by market forces, of course, greed and fear. But it doesn't really correlate to the stock market, and it doesn't really correlate to gold. So go figure, right? But those of us who believe in Bitcoin believe that it's has good fundamentals and will eventually gain value in the long run. So that leads us to our first cool story here. The coronavirus will send Bitcoin price to 100,000 in 2020, according to Max KEISER. And that's a feel-good story for all of us, right? Bitcoin will reach 100,000 and Jamie Dimon will be begging the United States Federal Reserve for money to buy some. That's pretty funny. Those were two predictions from Max KEISER on March 5th as the coronavirus outbreak sees financial markets tumble again. So that's a good prediction, right? I would like to see that, but we don't know. A lot of people were, the reasonable, even the Bitcoin advocates weren't really predicting 100,000 in 2020, right? They were predicting 100,000 maybe in the next few years. I guess if you look at the people, the mid-range of predictions in the Bitcoin sphere of the price of Bitcoin for 2020, it was averaging to, the prediction was around 20,000 maybe in 2020, right? But not 100,000. But, more power to you, Max. I hope you're right. That would be cool, right? So let's look at the next big story that I have on the list. It has to do with India. And it's kind of a story with a... let's see, where are we? Here we are, live topics. All right, so the first one from India was, India Supreme Court lifts RBI ban on banks servicing crypto firms. All right, so if you've been following what's going on in India at all, as far as Bitcoin goes, part of the bad news that led to the crypto winter of 2018 there was a lot of news coming out of India about how they were outlawing Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, right? So that was a big drag on the market in those days. And so you've been hearing a lot about, Bitcoin's illegal in India. They've just announced that they're going to outlaw Bitcoin, but they never really actually did it, right? There were a lot of reports and a lot of proposals and things, but they never actually outlawed Bitcoin. But the Bank of India, the Central Bank of India, was banning cryptocurrency businesses from using their services, right? So it was making it really difficult for exchanges and on-ramps and off-ramps to do their business because the Central Bank of India was banning them, right? Now, the Supreme Court of India struck down the Reserve Bank of India's controversial ban on banks dealing with crypto-related firms. So that was good news, and that happened like about Wednesday, right? Landmark ruling, right? So good news for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies that the Supreme Court of India struck down the bank ban on doing business with cryptocurrency companies and, exchanges and stuff. But hold on to your horses. Don't get too happy too fast, because another story that I just noticed today was that the Reserve Bank of India is going to appeal the Supreme Court's crypto decision. I didn't think you could appeal the Supreme Court. I thought the Supreme Court was the final word. At least in the U.S. it is, right? When every other court makes rulings, the Supreme Court gives that final stamp of approval or disapproval, and that's it, right? After all, it's the Supreme Court. But apparently in India, it's not as supreme as we may wish it would be, because now the bank is appealing their decision. Go figure. I don't know. I don't know how banks and Supreme Courts work in India, but here we go. So they're appealing that ruling. They don't like it. So good news, bad news in India. But I think the good news is kind of going to hold, right? And while we're talking about countries legalizing or not legalizing Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, there was some big news out of South Korea where lawmakers greenlighted a strict crypto AML bill. Now, some of the headlines, if you look at them about this, Korea and Bitcoin. Some of the, let's see, there was an article that said crypto trading is now legal in South Korea. And it was already, right? So this other story is it's bullish for Bitcoin, but crypto was already legal in South Korea. But this new law that they greenlighted is kind of a... it makes it more mainstream and more regulated and more legal in that sense. So And also, because it's a law that kind of follows, creates some strict regulations, it's bad for all these other dicey little companies out there that are trying to take advantage of people, using the word Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain and all that. There's a lot of scams going on out there. So this law should help reduce that kind of stuff, right? So good news on the crypto legality in South Korea over the last few days. So I found those exciting stories, right? So pretty cool, I thought. Even though I was a little disappointed that we got this appealing the decision story today. But let's see what else I got on the plate for tonight. And Reserve India. I guess those are the ones. India lifts, India. Okay. And now I've got a story from Crypto.com. They've got a new dust conversion feature. If it pulls up at all. Don't know what's wrong with my browser. That was weird. Come on, baby. Well, that's bizarre. Okay, it's not happening. Go figure there. I don't know what's going on there. Let's try this one. Will Ledger pull up? Okay, that pulled up. All right, so Ledger has introduced Ledger Live Manager version 2.0. Some really cool features with that. And I'll jump right in and talk about that right now. I would love for this thing to come up, but it's not going to. So we'll talk about Crypto.com's dust conversion feature. All right, so let's go ahead and launch Crypto.com. Sorry, Ledger Live 2.0. All right, and the first thing you might notice, oh, that graphic didn't do it like it was supposed to, but it, whatever. All right, so we'll enter our password. We'll get into our Ledger Live. Now, if you don't know if you're running Ledger Live 2.0 or not, you can go over here to the settings and go to About, and it'll tell you what version of Ledger Live you're running, right? So if you got anything less, you should upgrade. And if you have anything less, it should tell you at the top of your accounts. You should have like a blue bar up here that says, there's an update available, and then you can just click the button and update in place. Now, if for whatever reason you're not seeing that blue bar, and then you can see in your About that you're not running version 2, you could always just download the installer from the Ledger Live downloads. Just go to downloads and download it, and it's the latest version. And you can run the installer from your computer, right? So you just go over to downloads, and you'll download Ledger Live Desktop 2.0, and then you can just double click it and run it, and it will run the install / update on your Ledger Live. You could probably even have Ledger Live open at the time, maybe not. Probably better to just close it down when you're going to run that, and fine. And if you're really meticulous like I am, you could uninstall the old version before you run that installer, right? Just to make sure it's clean. Right, so you could go and just uninstall if you're not running Ledger 2.0, right? If you're running anything less, you could uninstall it and then reinstall it. Now, when you do that in Windows, it does not erase your accounts, right? Your accounts would still be there when you install the latest version. It just takes the application files off. All of your account information is stored in a preferences folder that's in your apps folder somewhere. So it's not going to erase any of your wallet, so you can do a clean install if you want to. If you want to do a really clean install, you go erase that preferences folder, but there's no reason to do that if everything's running fine for you, right? So here we are, Ledger Live 2.0. Now there's some really cool stuff going on in Manager, right? I've got my Ledger attached at the moment. Now, this is cool, right? It's telling me that I need to do something And it didn't do that before. So let's take a look at what it's telling us. Let's get this guy over here and zoomed in and adjusted. All right. All right. So what it's saying to me, let me bring it back just a little so you guys could. Whoops. Wow. All right. What it's telling me, Echo, turn off plant light. All right. That purple light was reflecting in here. What it's telling me is that I'm in an application, and I shouldn't be. If I wanted to use the manager, I need to be at the home screen. So Ledger Live has this great new graphic here that's explaining to me, hey, dude, you're in an application. You need to get out of it, right? Before, it would just kind of sit there and spin, right? And I think it said you need to get to the home screen or something, but this graphic really makes it clear that you need to, obviously, you need to do something with your device. So, and I need to get to quit. You see, it's got that quit there. So I'm just going to navigate across with one button until I get to quit, right? And now that I'm in quit, I'm going to hit both buttons just like it says, right? Takes me back out to the home screen, and then I need to connect and unlock, which I've done. And so it's happy, and it's going to launch Ledger Manager, right? So let me turn off this little camera here. So this is the new Ledger Live Manager interface. Much, much better than it used to be. First of all, it has this little graphic here of the apps that you have installed and the amount of free space that you have on your device. Now, the Ledger Nano X has a lot of space for apps, right? You could put like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, but you can manage everything right here, right? You can take a look, you can hover over each one, it'll tell you which app is installed and how much space it's taking up, right? And it tells you how much free space you have left, right? Another cool thing is if an individual app needs to be updated, it will tell you right below here, it'll tell you that you have apps that need to be updated. It did not used to do that. It used to just sort of give you a problem, like for example, Monero. You would get weird error messages if you weren't using the latest version of the Monero app, especially when they did their the Monero blockchain and wallet did their update, right? Not too long ago, like in December. And things were getting wonky, but you had to figure out that, oh, I'm not using the latest version of the Ledger Monero app, and I need to run an update. So what you had to do was uninstall Monero and reinstall it. And I think in last Friday's live stream, we sort of checked apps and what version we were running. You can see in Ledger Live here the latest version of the app, right? But in order to see the latest version on your own device, you had to actually go into each individual app and like check the version of the app you were running, which was a real pain. Now Ledger Live will detect which apps you've got on here and which versions you're running. So that's really cool. I already did the update when I did my video earlier. So if you want like a slow step-by-step, what are we doing here? What am I wrong here? Let's go over here. Whoops, not that. My son is over there watching something. God knows what he's watching. All right. So yeah, the crypto, the video I posted earlier, right? Let's go over there. If you just want something you can watch kind of slow, so you can pause and kind of check what's going on. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Pooies. There, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just like put it in the chat window so you guys could see what was happening. All right. All right, so that's a link to the video I just posted this morning. All right, it's good stuff, right? All right, so where were we? We were still talking about Ledger Manager. So there'll be down below here that'll say you can update. Not only can you update the apps, you can update them in place, right? You don't have to delete them and add them again. There's like a little interface here. You can update them all at the same time too, which is also cool. I had about 4 apps that needed to be updated, and they updated, right? Pretty cool. And also, and which is new, is the way your apps are presented here in the app catalog, right? It'll tell you whether you have the app installed or not. So here we go. I've got Bitcoin. It's installed, and it's supported in Ledger Live, right? It explains all that, all right? Now, here's another one that I have installed, EOS. Oh, wait, it's not installed, right? So EOS is not installed, and so I have an install button here, right? And if it's not supported in Ledger Live. Now here's one, Binance Chain, that is, I do have installed, but it's not supported in Ledger Live, right? And then we can go down along all these that I need to be installed. Here's one that's not installed, but it is supported in Ledger Live. So you can take a look at all that. They give you a lot more information than they used to, right? And then you also have this other tab where you can only see the apps that you have installed, right? And if they're not supported in Ledger Live, right, you've got this Learn More link that'll take you to a support page that will explain to you where you go about downloading the third-party wallet that you can use to manage this particular cryptocurrency. Now, I know a lot of people get pissed off that why do they have the app if they don't support it in Ledger Live? I don't know. I guess they can only do so much, right? But here's the thing. If you've got a cryptocurrency and you can store the private keys on the ledger, you should, right? It's much more secure than a desktop-based or any other kind of wallet, right? So if you can store the private keys for your Cardano on your ledger, even though you have to use a third-party wallet, it's more secure. Now, Cardano has staking. You might want to, use the Daedalus wallet. That's another discussion. But in general, if you can store your private keys on a ledger device, it's more secure than using the standalone desktop-based Monero wallet, right? Or the standalone Stellar wallet where you cut and paste your private key into the account viewer. That's really bad, right? So yes, it's a pain to have to use third-party wallets, but it's more secure to store your private keys right on this device, right? All right. Now, before I go over to accounts and talk about, whoa, wow, don't know what happened there. Before I go over to accounts and talk about that kind of stuff, let me see what people are talking about. Somebody out there, yeah, Scott, blurry. Scott, I went blurry. I always do. I don't know why. I got a pretty decent webcam. Cost me $200. The Logitech Brio, which is probably one of the better webcams. I also have this high-end Canon over here on the side that's doing my close-up shots, right? That guy. That's a better camera, but it's kind of hard to like hang it on my monitor. It's got a tripod on it, but I'd have to kind of put it behind. It's a real pain. So I don't use it as my primary webcam, right? I just use it as my side camera. But this Logitech Brio, in most respects, does very well, but goes blurry sometimes. Don't know why. All right, so let's take a look at what you guys are saying. There may be somebody screaming for help over here. Sometimes it happens. Decent upgrade. Now we're talking. Stock market. It's broke away from the stock market. We're all good. Please do a video about how to run your own BTC Lightning node to help the network. I have a Casa Lightning node, but it's not really stable, and I shy away from doing a video on something it doesn't work very well for me. I can't quite figure out how to get it to run right. I've tried. Anyway, we won't go into it, but I don't feel confident enough with that device to do a video on how to use it because I personally haven't quite figured it out. I'm kind of maybe waiting for the Lightning Network interface to improve or whatever. The interface to the Casa node's kind of wonky for me. So anyway, sorry about that I haven't done a video on that. HODL. Okay, here we go. BTC 100K in 2020, not going to happen. Scott doesn't believe it. Says 2021. I get it. That was my kind of take on it too. Let's clear 10,000 before we look at 100,000. I like that sentiment as well. Digifinex to Ledger Nano X. We can talk about ERC20. I don't have an account at Digifinex, but I can show you how to withdraw a ERC20 token from a cryptocurrency exchange. Not that difficult. Okay. All right, so Daniel says Link will hit $10 soon, and YouTube hid that. I'll go ahead and show it. Nothing wrong with that. Except that you're shilling Link, I guess. But hey, we all have our favorite coins. Got my BAT today, thanks to CryptoDad. Not my mobile, though. Doesn't go to Uphold Wallet. And BAT is doing decent now. Yes, BAT is doing decent. And I apologize, but I still haven't seen the BAT in my mobile version of Brave browser actually sync to my Uphold account. But I think maybe it is, and I'm just not seeing it happen. We can talk about that a little bit. I use Brave on my desktop, but I also use it on my phone. And I did do a sync. I've done a video on how you do the sync. But I never see the BAT. There's no withdrawal function on the phone. But I do see the BAT balance kind of going up and down. So I think it may be automatically getting withdrawn from my phone-based Brave into my Uphold wallet. And I don't know. Actually, I got some today. Let's check that out while we're on that subject. Where was that? Here. This one. It says I received 36 BAT from Uphold member. Payout for December ad earnings. But I think that was from my Brave browser, my desktop browser. Now, I don't know if they're like... let's just look at my phone while we're talking about Brave. I don't want to get too far off topic, but let me get screen mirroring going here. If it does. Yes, it does. Thank you. That was nice. So if we go into a Brave browser and we look at our Brave browser, I have to look at it, right? Let's go over here to rewards, okay? Okay, so I got some ad rewards that I can claim, so to speak. Let's claim them. All right, I got 24 BAT, yes. And it's been 0 for a while. And it had some BAT in there before, and then all of a sudden it went to 0. So my thinking is that it somehow got withdrawn somewhere. I'm hoping to my Uphold wallet. The previous balance, not the one I just claimed. Right? Because if we go into settings here, and then we go to, it says my wallet, and then view details, there's no withdrawal. Right? So if you'll notice, if we go to, and anyone that maybe has figured this out, let me know. If we go over to Brave Rewards in our browser, there's a withdraw funds. See, I can withdraw funds. Now, I've noticed that it's been happening kind of automatically anyway, right? I don't know if that's the 36 that I was showing you. That looks like, yeah, it looks like pretty much the same 36.3564, 36.4. So I don't know, right? It's not always perfectly synced. This balance that's showing in my desktop browser may have already been pulled over to my Uphold wallet, right? So we can go to Uphold and check that guy out. And this is where I'm getting, see, this says Brave browser, right? And it tells me that I got that in my Uphold wallet, right? Now, but I don't see another one down here. I don't see any others for Brave browser iOS base, right? So I'm still not sure how that is being withdrawn. Because I get a lot of people asking me, they're synced, I've got them synced, but I can't really see on my phone how to, manually withdraw it directly out of my phone base to my Uphold account. There's no interface there. But it does empty out occasionally, so I'm assuming that it's going somewhere, right? I'll try to keep an eye on it better and kind of let you guys know, but I'm just assuming that it ends up in your Uphold wallet at some point, right? It's not that much at the moment. So maybe I'm just missing it. Whatever, right? All right. All right, so enough about BAT, but BAT is doing very well. So it would behoove you to earn as much BAT as you can. It's only like $5 or $10 a month. But if you're accumulating that BAT in your Uphold wallet and BAT doubles in price, then could be good for you, right? Could be good for all of us. All right. The whole upgrade to Ledger Live. It didn't take me that long to download it myself, so I'm not sure why yours took that long. The Ledger Live installer is only 85 kilobytes. What is that? Is that 84,000 kilobytes? I think that's like 8.5 megs. Not that much. Not that big. Oh, I'm gonna do the whole downloads. That's not what I want. I just want this one. 82 megabytes. That's not that big. Yeah. So I'm not sure why it took you so long to download it. LTC. Okay, I have a question. Do you have a video on how to cash out when BTC goes up to a certain price? How do you transfer your BTC from Ledger to where? Question mark, crypto exchange, or so. Okay, Medjor, we could cover that tonight. But I will point out that in the last two live streams, so if you go to my page, and I'm not sure, let's see. If you go to my page, CryptoDad, I don't know what I'm doing here. I shouldn't be going through all this. Okay, there's the page. I think if you look in the videos section, you'll see my live streams, right? So last week's live stream, we did a lot of withdrawals from our own wallet to exchanges. And that's basically what you want to do. You're basically moving your crypto from one place to another. And you're moving it back to an exchange. All right? So that's a pretty good question. So and it lends itself easily to our demo in Ledger Live, right? We wanted to go to accounts and we wanted to like do some withdrawals, right? So let's try that. Let's go. I already consolidated. Let's withdraw some from, that's not going to happen fast enough. I guess we could do it from here, but I'm not going to. Actually, I can't. Can't. It's, all right. For whatever reasons. All right, so let's see here. I can pretend, right? So let's go over to, I try not to pretend. I like to show you what I'm doing. Why don't we do the withdraw? No, it won't. Let's do it. All right. Let's do the withdraw first. Let's do the receive. All right, so I want to receive some Bitcoin. So I'm going to hit receive. And I'm going to hit continue here. And it should tell me, hey, you need to be in the Bitcoin app, right? It's like, you need to be in the Bitcoin app. So that's very helpful, right? So let's look at that. Whoops. Am I in the Bitcoin app or am I not in the Bitcoin app? No, I am not. I need to hit both buttons here to enter the Bitcoin app, right? Now that I'm in the Bitcoin app, Ledger Live is satisfied, right? Now it wants me to verify this address, so I look at the address on my device, and I look at the address on my screen, and I eyeball them to make sure that it's the same address, right? That's a fail safe. And it wants me to go over to that check mark and choose approve. But here's the thing. I don't want to do that yet because I still need to copy the address into my clipboard. So I'm going to do that. But for crypto.com, I want the QR code, right? So I'm going to hit show QR code. Right? I'm going to just put the ledger down for a minute. Right? I'm going to open up crypto.com. I just want to get this out of the way. I know you were asking me about moving from the wallet to an exchange, but I can show you that in a bit when we do the crypto, after we get the Bitcoin, if it comes in fast enough, which it probably won't. It's always takes a while when you withdraw from exchanges. All right, so you can see there's some Bitcoin in my crypto.com account. I'm going to go over to wallet here real quick and just show you briefly, before I do that withdrawal, that up at the top there's a dust converter. So if you've got a bunch of really small balances, you can tap that dust converter and it'll convert the dust to MCO or CRO. Pretty cool. I did a video on that earlier, so I've already converted all my dust. But I just wanted to point that out, that they have that feature now. All right, so we want to get some Bitcoin. There's my Bitcoin. Let's do a transfer. So I'll tap the transfer up there. Now, depositor withdrawal, I want to withdraw, right? And to a wallet or another crypto.com user, it's going to be external wallet, right? So we'll hit external wallet. Now, I need to whitelist this new address because the Ledger Live always generates a new sending address every time you use the Bitcoin wallet. It improves privacy and security. And as you can see, I got a bunch of addresses there, right? So when you give someone an address to your wallet, you want to give them a new one each time, because if you use the same one over and over again and you send that address to a friend or a business or whatever, they can look at all of your transactions. The Bitcoin blockchain is transparent. And they can also see your current balance, right? So to improve privacy and security, you want new addresses. So I need to whitelist this. So I'm going to hit plus up there. I'm going to tap that little icon that launches my camera. I'm going to hold that up to that Bitcoin address. It auto-fills it there. I'm going to give this guy a name. I'm going to call it Ledger X Native Segwit DD. I think I'm on D's. Hopefully I haven't done that one yet. CD. Let's do EE just in case. Right? I just like up the naming convention. All right. Now I need my two-factor. So I'm going to flip up, go over to Authenticator. I'm going to tap that code for crypto.com. I'm going to slide back over to crypto.com. I'm going to paste and continue. And I've entered my two-factor. It's happy. Now it's going to send me another fail-safe, which is an email confirmation. I'll tap that guy. I'm going to confirm that withdrawal address. Open my browser. It's going to take me back and ask me to open crypto.com again. And there's that new address, right? So we'll tap withdraw BTC. And when I tap in that field there where it says 100, I've got the max available right below the withdrawal button. I'll tap that, autofill, withdraw. All right, there's the overview. Going to confirm that. And I need to use that two-factor again. So let's flip up. Let's go back to Authenticator. It looks like it's about timeout. So I'm going to wait a minute because Google Authenticator regenerates codes about every 10 to 15 seconds. Right? So let's tap that crypto.com code. Let's slide back over to crypto.com. Let's tap paste. and continue, and then that withdrawal should commence, right? All right, and then I can go down. Let's refresh this. And then you can see down there I have a pending BTC withdrawal. Right? I can even tap on that, and it'll even show me the address that I withdrew to. So I can eyeball that and look at my ledger live and see, hey, everything's fine. It's just going to wait. It's just going to take a while. All right? So that's the way it goes. Now, we may or may not get that Bitcoin in the wallet in time for us to send some Bitcoin out, but I can still pretend, right? Right, now I can verify that address. And yeah, it's really cool that they added all these graphics, but the order was kind of messed up, because it used to be after you clicked approve, you would still see the address. Now, when you click approve, the address goes away, right? So you have to, either copy it into your clipboard or scan the QR code before you actually confirm it on the device. So a little awkward, but hey, we can live with it, right? All right, so let's hit done. All right, so this Bitcoin address should be getting some Bitcoin in it, hopefully in the next, half hour maybe. We'll see, right? Sometimes it comes in quick, sometimes it takes longer. Just depends. Every exchange is a little different. They have their own internal mechanisms. So when we move Bitcoin from one place to another within the blockchain, it usually happens fairly quickly. But when you deposit and withdraw from exchanges, it could take longer, right? They've got their own whatever they got going on in there. They got multiple wallets, they got liquidity, they got all this stuff going on. So it could take longer. All right. All right. So, but I will pretend. So let's do this. Let's go over to, let's say you use Binance US on a pretty, well, let's do Coinbase, right? Let's do Coinbase. Let's say you're a regular Coinbase user and you feel comfortable with Coinbase, you buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, and then maybe you put it in your own wallet, and then you're wondering, okay, now what happens when Bitcoin goes up? What do I do, right? Okay, so I'm going to go back into my Google Authenticator. I'm going to get my Coinbase code. Right there, right? All right, so we're in our Coinbase account. Now, as you can see, I don't have any Bitcoin in here right now. But if I did, right? If I had some Bitcoin, I could just cash out, right? There's no send. But let's go up to Bitcoin and hit trade. I could sell that Bitcoin for US dollars, sell my Bitcoin, and then I could, let's see if I can do this. All right. Anyway, there's a way to cash out. There is. I swear, there is. Right? You in your portfolio, your US dollar, you've got withdrawal, right? You can withdraw that right back to your bank. It goes to your bank when it's in the US dollar account. So, but how do we get it back into Coinbase, right? How do we do that? So let's go to portfolio. Let's assume that it's Bitcoin. Right? And we can't send any because it's empty, but we can receive. So we want to do a receive in our cryptocurrency exchange in order to generate that address that we need to give to our wallet. Right? So we'll hit this little icon there that gets it into our clipboard. Now we can go back to our Ledger Live. Get this out of the way. And we can do a send. Send our Bitcoin to that address. All right. Now, you'll notice I'm working with an empty Bitcoin wallet at the time. But we could send max, right? And let's say you had 2 Bitcoin in there, right? You could send it all back to your Coinbase account. And then after you did that, you'd wait a little while, and then you go check your Coinbase account, and lo and behold, you'd have those 2 Bitcoin in your portfolio. Then you could trade it for US dollars, right? We'd sell that Bitcoin for US dollars, and then we could do a withdrawal. And that would be the way to cash out of the Bitcoin that you're holding in your wallet, right? You could do the exact same thing with Binance US, right? Let's say you're in Binance, you have a Binance US account. All right. All right, so if you had BTC in your ledger and you wanted to deposit it in your Binance US account, you would just go to your wallet and you would choose deposit, and there's their BTC address, right? We copy that address into our clipboard, go back to our Ledger Live, do another send, and use that address to send, right? Do that same thing again. Right? Send to max, send whatever you got in there, and after you've sent it, it would be in your, hang on just a second. Alex, can you turn this down a little bit, sweetheart? It's so loud. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry about that. My son is over there watching YouTube and he's got it on so loud. And he watches the craziest stuff. It's just like dudes being children. Like they're over there like shooting rubber pellets in their mansion, whatever they're doing. They get millions of views doing that crap too. Makes me sick. They do. This like stupid. They wrap themselves in bubble wrap and run around, and it's like they get millions of views. And here I am, you know, playing my heart out here for you guys, doing crypto tutorials, and you know, I'm not getting millions of views. But hey, I do this because I love it, and I want to share my knowledge and make a little money on the side. So, you know, I can't complain. All right, so here we go. Now, once the BTC appears in our Binance US account, then we would do a trade. We would trade it for US dollars. Right? We would just sell our BTC for dollars. We could sell all 100% of it. And then we would have US dollars in our US dollar account, right? If we look over here at a wallet, we'd have a lot of money in our US dollar account, which we could then withdraw to our own bank, right? Say, withdraw to what? Withdraw to my bank, please, right? So that's a cash out, right? But, yeah, that'd be the way to cash out. Just transfer money from your wallet to an exchange and go through whatever procedures they have for withdrawing the money. All right, so why don't we, let's see what guys are asking here real quick. I'm sorry I wasn't really prepared to have a little BTC. Can you make a video? Okay, we were talking about ERC20 tokens. I think I have some ERC20 tokens that perhaps I could show you how to move. You could do some XRP maybe. Maybe some Chainlink. Well, I could move some Chainlink. I don't mind doing that. All right, so but before we jump into that, let's see what else is. All we are is dust in the wind. I'm a little confused. Where am I reading questions from? I'm reading questions from the top and trying to keep up with you guys. So who is the one that's complaining about me? I'm not having any issues at all with version 2.0. It's working great for me. Okay. This is where you're reading questions from. I sent my bat to my Ledger Nano S as soon as it showed up in the Uphold wallet. Good for you, Tig. Very nice. That's what I do too. Whenever I get a payment, I just move it into my own wallet. That's very, very good, Tig. More power to you on that one. The Ledger Nano X isn't any safer than the Ledger Nano S. It's bigger screen and more apps, so it's a better thing. I don't know what you're comparing safer to when you say is that Ledger Nano X safer, but it is safer than using a desktop-based Bitcoin wallet or a phone-based Bitcoin wallet. So yes, it's safer because the private keys are stored on this device and they're never exposed to the internet, right? Everything is done internally, and when you sign a transaction, it happens on the device and the private key never leaves the device. So yes, your Bitcoin is much safer on a hardware-based wallet, right? Or what we would call a cold wallet. There are other brands besides Ledger. I don't mean to say that Ledger is the only safe hardware wallet, right? There's Trezor, there's Elipal, there's other hardware-based wallets that are separate. But for me, I like the convenience of the Ledger wallet. And it seems to be compatible with a lot of other cryptocurrencies that, that are compatible with hardware wallets, like Monero. The Monero wallet works. The Stellar wallet works with it. So compatibility, convenience, and security is why I chose Ledger. All right, and let's see. Quite complicated. Hi, Mr. David. Good to have you here. All right, Stephanie. Hi, Rex. Question. When you whitelist an address and say Binance with my Ledger wallet address, is it okay to keep using the address even though Ledger is generating different addresses? Thank you. Yes, Stephanie, that's a very good question. It is perfectly okay to keep using the whitelisted address that you set up in your cryptocurrency account. I am a little meticulous, maybe a little too meticulous, and it's not really that big of a deal. And you can keep using the same address. Ledger will generate new addresses, but the old addresses work just fine. So if you have a whitelisted address to a Ledger wallet that you have set up in Ledger Live, then you can use that address as often as you want, right? It's not going to hurt anything. Going to lower your privacy and security slightly. But when I say security, I don't mean that you're going to lose the Bitcoin. I mean in the sense of security that someone can see your balance, and that's not secure, that people know what's in your wallet. But your cryptocurrency exchange is not really paying attention to what you have in your wallet. So it's not like you're sending an address to just a person on the street, hey, send me some Bitcoin, and then they can see how much Bitcoin you have, and that's not secure if they know where you live, that kind of stuff. Your cryptocurrency exchange probably has like a privacy policy. They're not going to share that information with other people. They don't really care how much Bitcoin you have in your wallet, or how many transactions you've done, that kind of stuff. But even if, like, let's say the IRS, you were being audited and they requested your Coinbase, or like you were being sued, for child support or back alimony or something like that. If they subpoenaed Coinbase or Binance, whatever, they would still see all your withdrawals, even if you use different addresses each time, right? Because they would see all of your transactions that you They would look at all of your whitelisted addresses. So it's, that security issue is more like when you're dealing with another person. Like you run a coffee shop that accepts Bitcoin, you don't want all your customers being able to see, all that. Anyway, I think there's other ways to hide your balance when accepting Bitcoin, but maybe not, because you hear a lot of talk. Monero talks a lot about you should use Monero because people can't see your balance when they send you Monero, and they can't see the other people that are sending you Monero, right? So anyway, not a huge issue. You can use the same whitelisted address over and over. Technically speaking, it will all go into the same wallet. I think I've talked about that in the past too. So I'm probably beating that dead horse to my regular viewers. Yeah. So we're talking about the crypto being complicated. I've sort of given up on worrying about, that each transaction is taxable and everything. I think that over time, cryptocurrency regulations and tax regulations will be simplified, because, yeah, it is pretty complicated that every time you move crypto from one place to another or exchange one crypto for another, you have to keep track of all that for the IRS. It's like, if every time I stuck my hand in my pocket for some money and bought a pack of gum, if I was going to have to report that to the IRS, that would be, intrusive and overly complicated, right? So why are they doing that on cryptocurrency? We want to use it like a currency, so it should be simpler, right? But it isn't right now, right? So let's hope that it does get simplified over time. I could always wrap myself in bubble wrap and do crypto tutorials, right? You need to make a fool of yourself, right, to get views, right? Thanks, guys. Mr. David Lee, so right, I got in, I didn't know it was ahead of me, I had known it was needed to learn, probably wouldn't have gotten into this, but I'm not really computer literate, if not for Rex. Thank you, Mr. David. I've helped Mr. David on several occasions, and he's a great guy. But not all of us are born to sit in front of a computer like I am, right? I was born, I'm a late boomer, right? I was born in '63, but I kind of grew up learning about computers. When I got into computers, I was just about that right age, early 20s, when computers first came in, and I learned how to use them, and I've always loved them. And, I'm kind of a computer geek. I was a little bit ahead of my time because when I was getting into computer geeks, not a lot of people were really into computers. And I always said, back in those days, I go, there will come a day when everybody will have a computer in their house. And I was right? This was back in the 80s, the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s. I was like, there'll be a day when everyone has computers in their house. And back then, it was like people didn't think that was going to happen, right? Computers were for hobbyists, not anymore, right? So here I am trying to get into crypto, and I believe that, down the road, everybody will know about Bitcoin and own some Bitcoin, hopefully, right? So we'll see if that turns out to be right, right? Sam the Farm Man. Problem with Ledger Live 2. Hyrux came up with an oops, something went wrong message. They suggested to restart Ledger Live. Can't load by clicking an icon. Any suggestions, please, and thank you. Okay, so I actually got a something went wrong message earlier, and it had to do with I was in the middle of an operation, and I think what I did to get out of that was I exited the app that I was in and re-entered it. I didn't disconnect the device or do anything weird, and then I just hit retry and it worked, right? I think, and I can't quite place it, I was working on my video and everything. I think it had to do with I started the transaction, before I was in the right. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it may have been that I wasn't in the right app when I started the transaction, and instead of it telling me, "Hey, you need to launch the app," or whatever, it just said something went wrong, and so I just exited the app and re-entered the app and retried again. And I don't know what the interface looked like on Ledger Live. Maybe I was able to dismiss that error message, or I just retried again before I dismissed it. I can't remember. But I'm kind of like, it's easier for me because I've been using it so long. When I get an error message, I kind of have a sense of why it happened. And then I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should just try again. And I did, right? But if you're stuck, right? If it gets completely stuck and you can't get out of it and you're like stuck in the middle of this message and you can't dismiss it, there's normal computer stuff you can do. One is, first of all, try to do something with the device, like exit the app you're in and then re-enter it, right? Failing that, you can just disconnect the device and reconnect the device, re-enter your PIN, and then enter the app again, right? But before you go through all that, try to get the error message dismissed on your screen. And if you can't, then you can force quit Ledger Live, right? It's not going to erase any of your Bitcoin, right? So you just Control Alt Delete. Whoops. I don't know if you can still see that, but go to your task manager and, force quit Ledger Live, right? You highlight Ledger Live and hit End Task, right? You can force quit out of Ledger Live. You're not going to die. You're not going to erase anything, right? Hopefully, right? The worst case scenario is that you somehow corrupt Ledger Live and it's unusable and you have to reinstall it, right? But that's still, you're not going to lose any crypto there. So maybe force quit. Or, maybe just quit Ledger Live from the X up here if you've got an error box that's bothering you, right? That won't go away. But, try again. That's the main thing. If you're in the middle of trying to send Bitcoin and you get a message that says, oops, something went wrong, then try to dismiss that box and start again. Do the same thing you were trying to do the first time, and hopefully the second time you won't get the box. If you keep getting the error message, something went wrong, over and over again, then dismiss the message, quit Ledger Live, disconnect, reconnect the Ledger device, and relaunch Ledger Live and try again, right? So it's usually just kind of a glitch when you get that. I got past it myself. So it's hard for me to recreate exactly what happened to me. So it's hard for me to know, right? Let's go down here. Oh, hey, we got that native SegWit. All right. So now that we've got some Bitcoin in there, maybe we can, no, let's not do that. Let's send some Ethereum, right? People were asking me about ERC20 tokens. So let's go over here to our Ethereum account. And there's that pesky Kick token. God, I wish they would have figured out a way for me to not see Kick token anymore, right? I wish I could hide it. Can I? No. Man, that's so... Yeah, I cannot get rid of that Kick token. And I thought, with their new version that they would, right? But no. Now, we can go over here to crypto assets. Right, see, down here, where is it? Did I miss it? I must have missed it. Where's Kick, doggone you? Rates. Yeah. Where'd it go? I'm missing it. Oh, Kick to ETH. That's what I should be looking for, right? No. It's not in there. Doggone them. All right, whatever. Am I blind? Am I missing the Kick token here? Right? Because normally it said KuCoin, right? Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know what's going on there. Let's look here. No, that's not it. All right. Anyway, they still don't have a way to turn off kick token, which sucks, right? All right. All right, so let's go back to Coinbase. Logged I'm not out yet. Let's go to our portfolio, and yeah, I'm logged out. They just auto log you out really fast. You can stay logged into like Binance US all day. Coinbase. All right, 76271. Verify. I think Coinbase supports Chainlink, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Okay. So Chainlink is a ERC20 token, right? So we got some Chainlink here, and we want to deposit it. So let's hit receive. Let's generate that Chainlink address, right? There it is. We'll hit copy. Let's go back over to our Ledger Live, go to our accounts, and go down here to Chainlink, right? I want to send some Chainlink, and to that Ethereum address, right? I'm sending Chainlink from my wallet to Coinbase, right? Let's just say Chainlink has gone crazy, and I've got a bunch of Chainlink, and I want to cash some out, right? I'll hit continue. And I could send max, my whole 24, but I'm not going to. Let's just send 5 Chainlink. What's that going to give us? 23 bucks, right? So I'll send 5 Chainlink, and I'll hit continue. There's my overview. I'll hit continue one more time. Now let's see what Ledger Live does. Maybe we'll get a oops, something went wrong. No. What it's telling me is, hey, quit the application on your device because it knows I'm in the wrong app, right? I'm in Bitcoin. So I need to get out of Bitcoin. So I need to move over until I see the quit, right? Just like it's showing me on my screen. Now that I am at quit, I can hit both buttons and get out of Bitcoin. All right. Now it should tell me to open the Ethereum app because Ethereum manages Chainlink because Chainlink is an ERC20 token. So let's navigate over to Ethereum. Let's hit both buttons, right? Now that I've done that, Ledger Live is going to tell me to review the transaction. So I'm going to move using one button over. There's my amount. It matches what I see on my screen. There's the address. There's the fees. They match what shows on my screen. This is all new. This is cool. And then we hit accept and send, right? We get that check mark. We hit both buttons and we send it out. That was me signing the transaction. That was where the Ledger device was using that private key internally to sign my transaction. The private key never left the device. It simply was used during the signed transaction operation, right? And then the signed transaction went out onto the internet, onto the blockchain, and the cryptocurrency went out from my device, right? Let's get rid of this little mirror. Now we've successfully sent some Chainlink to our Coinbase account. All right. And I want to just like, I want to show you this. I didn't really go into the fact that, hey, we got that Bitcoin, right? That we got from Crypto.com. Now, Crypto.com still hasn't told me that the withdrawal took place. It's probably still pending on Crypto.com. But it showed up in my wallet, right? We just got it today. $55 worth of Bitcoin that we withdrew from Crypto.com. So that was a successful operation, right? So let's check Coinbase here. Let's go to Portfolio. Let's go down here to Chainlink. Still waiting on that, but we should see a pending transaction shortly. There it is. So we have some Chainlink pending that will be coming into our account. Now, like I said, if we were, if we had a notion to cash out of the Chainlink, then we could sell it for US dollars and withdraw from Coinbase back to our own bank account. You should have your bank account linked to your Coinbase account. you may just have a debit card linked to Coinbase. So you really, if you want to do withdrawals, then you really should have your bank account linked to your Coinbase account. Same with Binance US, right? Link your bank account to your cryptocurrency exchanges so that on those occasions where the market is going to the moon and you want to buy a new car or whatever, you want to pay down your credit cards or you want to buy a new suit or whatever, you want to cash out. Now, you don't always have to cash out to realize your crypto gains, right? One example is Crypto.com. I can simply top up my Crypto.com Visa card from my Crypto.com account and just use my Visa card at a store, right? So if I wanted to buy a new pair of Nikes for $100 or whatever, I could go to Crypto.com and top up my card with my phone app and then spend that crypto right away. So there are a lot of ways to do that. There are a lot of other types of accounts that have these cards. There's Uphold, there's Cryptarium. There's a lot of businesses that are getting involved in the whole crypto spend ecosystem using a card that is connected to your account. Coinbase has that, but it's only in the UK apparently. So it won't be long before you've got a Coinbase card in the US, hopefully, where you can spend your Coinbase winnings, holdings, however you want to think of it, right? So a lot of good things on the horizon as far as easily spending your crypto gains, right? Unfortunately, there's no Ledger card because Ledger doesn't really work like that. Ledger is it is a full-blown cryptocurrency wallet, and a cryptocurrency wallet is more designed for storage than it is to spend. But you can spend directly out of your Ledger wallet, right? So if someone has a Bitcoin address, you go into a coffee shop and they say, pay us in Bitcoin, here's our Bitcoin address. They got a little QR code. Then you can use your Ledger phone-based app to spend that crypto right out of your Ledger wallet. But that would be like directly spending the crypto and not like cashing it out on an exchange, right? So you could do that. If a friend of yours said, hey, I'll sell you my bike for crypto, and your friend brought the bike over and said, I'll give you I'll take $100 worth of Bitcoin. All he needs to do is give you his Bitcoin address, and you could send it directly from your Ledger Live on your computer, or he could email it to you. Right? He could say, here's my Bitcoin address. Give me $100 worth of Bitcoin, and I'll bring the bike over. Right? And if you trust your friend, you'd send him the Bitcoin first. Right? I don't know if it was someone you didn't know, you'd probably want to wait till they had the bike, with a third party or in your front yard or whatever before you actually sent the Bitcoin, right? But you can spend Bitcoin directly out of your Ledger wallet, either the desktop version or the phone-based version, right? So you don't have to cash out to dollars, right? Who needs dollars anyway, right? No more dollars. All right. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, so I think I'm looking through questions here. Yeah, Tig was talking about that you need to copy the address before you verify, and that is a little backwards. That's the only problem that I found with it, but I can live with it, right? But it took me, I mean, the first time I went ahead and verified like I always do, and the address disappeared. All right, so Scott's got to go. Good night. Digibyte forever. Good to have you again, Scott. I always appreciate your presence. Is Ellipal the only hardware wallet that natively supports BSV? If it does, then it probably is, right? There's not a lot of support for BSV out there. That's Bitcoin Satoshi version. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not really supported on the ledger, right? I don't even know if there's an app for it. There probably isn't. BSV. I don't know what it is with BSV. Just not a lot of support for it out there. More to do with booting up of the ledger while not in a transaction. Okay. Okay, Stefan Mayer says, I got into crypto back here in the UK about 2 months ago and nearly gave up as I am not tech savvy, but with your help and extremely good tutorials, I have stuck with it. Invaluable. Oh, I thought it was a question, but it was a compliment. Thank you so much, Stefan. Stephen. Crypto Curious, can you show us how to move Chainlink to a Nano? Well, let's see what we got here. I'll move it back once it gets in there. It's not quite in there yet. I could show you how to withdraw it. Right now, send is dimmed out because there's no Chainlink in there. But if it gets in there in the near future, I'll show you how to do it. Pretty simple, right? You just do a send to your ledger address, right? So we would go over to our accounts. We go down here to Chainlink, right? We do a receive, right? And we get that address off our device. Right, there it is. There's the Chainlink address. Copy that into my clipboard. Go ahead and confirm on my device. Right? And then I would take that Chainlink over here to Coinbase and do a send, right? From Coinbase, I would send to myself. So I'm sending to the ledger, right? And then I would paste in the address of my ledger wallet, right? And if this thing gets here completely, I will demo that. Not quite yet, so we'll have to wait a few minutes. Rex, the problem is the download Ledger Live 2.0. If you're having trouble downloading Ledger Live, Sam, you're not the first man that said something about Ledger Live taking a long time to download. My suggestion to you is to try it at an off time, because it's probably, there's a lot of people trying to download it right now. Within the first 24 to 48 hours, there's a lot of traffic. So you might be running into that. Now, I've got like a tip-top internet connection, because it's part of what I do is my business. So I've got like the full gigabyte bandwidth connection, right? I've got the gig speed. But you may not. You may be on a 10 or a 20 megabits per second internet connection, and you're having trouble connecting to Ledger Live. So basically, the Ledger Live installer is in France, right? So you may have trouble downloading it at peak times. Now, you also, if that's an issue, you might also have trouble with the in-place download, right? So if it's telling you you need to download it or you need to upgrade, and then you click that little, upgrade button, it may just sit there and spin because it's having trouble connecting to the Ledger servers. But my advice to you on that is just keep trying at different times, right? Wait a few hours, try again. Maybe wait a couple more hours, try again, until you get that sweet spot where you're in between like heavy traffic times, right? Wherever the time zone you may be in, you might be catching, like everybody on the Eastern Seaboard's trying to download it right now, so you're not getting through. But there's probably a spot in there, of less peak time where you'll be able to catch that download. It's not that big, but the Ledger servers are probably pretty full right now with people trying to download the latest version. So yeah, just keep trying at different times. Where's the best place to store US dollar Tether or any other stable coin? You can store US Tether in your Ledger if you want to. I don't think I have any at the moment. But so let's see. Let's go over to Manager. You got the download, no problem. Oops, there's a problem message. Okay. Interesting. So you're like getting that oops, there's a problem every time you try to do anything? That's weird. If that's happening every time you try to do anything, I would maybe reinstall Ledger. Like uninstall it and reinstall it in Windows. See if that fixes that oops, there's a problem message. All right, it wants me to quit the application I'm in. Right? It knows I'm in an application, which it didn't before, which is cool. So it tells me, get out of that application you're in, buddy. So you can go into Ledger Manager. Okay, and we can go down here to US Tether. I can search. Pharma Trust? Huh. Okay. I thought that they had a tether. Huh. Okay. I guess not. It's, I mean, it's an ERC20 token, so you can use it in your Ethereum account. So let's go to Ethereum, and then let's go to add token, and try US. There, you can write US Tether. You can just transfer US Tether into your Ledger live and store the private key on your device, and park your Tether in your Ledger account. Tether, strictly speaking, is more lends itself better to being stored on your cryptocurrency exchange. The idea with Tether is you're buying and selling cryptocurrencies. You've got some gains that you want to lock in, so you trade your Bitcoin for Tether in case Bitcoin goes down again, right? But the Tether is there in case you want to jump back in and make some more money in cryptocurrency, right? Most of the time when people load up on Tether, they load up on an exchange and they wait for the right time to actually use it to buy Bitcoin, hopefully on a dip, right? And then, but if you want to just hold Tether in your own wallet, you can, right? There's no problem. You can do it. You can put it in your ledger, and then when you're ready to use it, you can transfer it back to an exchange so that you can use it to buy crypto. Because, I mean, if you're going to store Tether, you might as well just store dollars, right? They reflect there's really no reason for long-term Tether storage. Unless it's just security, right? You got $100,000 worth of Tether, and you'd rather keep it in your own wallet with your own private key, right? All right, so yeah, I would say the safest place to store your Tether would be in a hardware wallet like a Ledger or a Trezor or whatever. All right, let's see what we got over here. How long is it going to take to get there? There it is. Okay, so the question was, how do I store Chainlink in a ledger? All right, so let's go over to our ledger. Let's go down to accounts, and I just happen to have Chainlink in here, but if you don't, you could just go to your Ethereum account and choose add token and choose Chainlink. There it is, link, right? Just click link, right? And hit continue. And then it's going to generate a receiving address. Now the receiving address is just your Ethereum address. That's all it is. You need to be in the Ethereum app, so we'll hit that. I'm in the Ethereum app now, and it's going to give me an Ethereum address, or in this case, a Chainlink address. But it's the same address as my Ethereum wallet. I'm going to copy that into my clipboard, and then I've got to go over and verify the address here, make sure it's the same. Click approve. I can click done here. Let's go back over here. This time, we're going to send the chain link from my Coinbase account to my wallet address, right? My ledger address. I click here in this little field. I'll click Send Max, 5 link. I'll hit Continue. And there's the overview. I need to enter my 2-factor authentication. I can get rid of this. Get rid of that. I'm going to enter my 2-factor authentication, which is my Google Authenticator. Right, I'll hit Confirm. And boom, the transaction is on its way. Let's hit refresh there. Send chain link is pending. We can go back over to our Ledger Live, and we can just watch our chain link. And at some point when we do a sync, it should show up. And it'll go from 19 to 24, something. Take a few minutes, but it'll get there, right? So there you go. How do you store your chain link in a ledger? You download the Ethereum app. You set up an Ethereum account. You add the chain link token to that account, and then you transfer some chain link from your cryptocurrency exchange, wherever it may be, into your wallet, right? You do a receive on your wallet end, and then the chain link shows up. Let's see what happens. It may not show up in time. All right, but it will, right? Don't worry, it'll be there, right? David Mutru gave me a little tip. I appreciate it. A nice tip. I always appreciate tips. It's very nice of you, David. I appreciate it. Can I move Bitcoin from Cash App, or is it better to leave it there? That's a really good question, David. I use the Cash App. I've used Cash App to buy Bitcoin. You can store your Bitcoin in the Cash App, and it shows you how much Bitcoin you have, but you're not actually holding that Bitcoin in your own wallet. The Cash App is kind of a hot wallet. They hold the private keys. It's more like, as long as you have access to the Cash App, you have access to that Bitcoin, but you're not really holding it, right? They have the private keys. Now, you can easily withdraw it to your own wallet, right? So let's see. Let me show you this. Or just quickly, while we're on the subject, if we're in the Cash App, right, we can, and oh, there's some money in my Cash App. There's $12 in there, right? You can go into your Bitcoin and you can see how much Bitcoin you have. I currently don't have any in here, but I did, and I withdrew it, right? You can hit withdraw Bitcoin and put in the Bitcoin address of your own wallet, right? So I could get the Bitcoin address of my Ledger wallet and kind of email it to myself and cut and paste it into here, right? So I don't have to enter it by hand. Actually, with let's do that. I'm just going to do a quick one here. Don't have the device, right? Actually, with Cash App, you can actually scan the Bitcoin address that you want to send Bitcoin from your Cash App to yourself. If there was some Bitcoin in here, I could hit withdraw Bitcoin. I would tap it on my phone, and there would be like a QR code scanner for the Bitcoin address. And then you would just click send. And it's safer if you buy Bitcoin using the Cash App and you want to store it long term. It's safer to put it in your own wallet than to keep it in the Cash App. But I had some Bitcoin in there, and I kept it in there for about a week or whatever. I was waiting to use that Bitcoin to buy something, right? I wanted to keep it as Bitcoin because in case Bitcoin went up, it would be worth more. And it actually, that's what happened, right? I was going to make a purchase, and so I put some Bitcoin in the Cash App, and then I just waited until the last minute when I was at the register to make my purchase. And in those 2 days, Bitcoin went up from like 87.50 up to like 9. And so it was worth more. It wasn't a lot more, but it was worth a little more. And then right as I got to the register, I went to sell Bitcoin, right? and I sold the Bitcoin because I had some Bitcoin in there. I sold my Bitcoin. It went right into the Cash App, and then I used my Cash App card at the register, right? Cash App has their own card too. Show you this. So I've got the Cash App card that I can use, and I chose that icon. You can choose your own icon for your cash, but it's like just a white card, has a chip, and on the other side has your card number, and you can use it anywhere Visa is accepted. So yeah, it's another cool way to spend Bitcoin. I forgot to mention that earlier. Let's see. Not quite. There it is. Okay. So the chain link is now back from Coinbase into my own wallet, right? So that's how you store chain link in a ledger. Okay, guys. So I hope you guys have a good night. Thanks for joining me. It does cost you a little bit to sell your Bitcoin on Cash App. They have fees, right? That's the price we pay for that convenience, right? Cheaper to use my Crypto.com card, but actually I could have done it with the Crypto.com card too, right? But it's cool. Cash App works really well. And Cash App has an easy way to transfer to your own bank account, which Crypto.com does not, right? Crypto.com can't connect to my US bank account, but the Cash App can. And so I can move Bitcoin into Cash App and then withdraw it directly to my bank account. And that's cool, right? But that costs me too. They charge fees for that. So anyway, guys, keep on cryptoing. Keep practicing on your own. That's the only way you're going to get better, and it's the only way you'll feel confident and comfortable using Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is practice, practice, practice. So don't forget, we do this every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join me again for the live Q&A from Michigan, where you can throw out questions, and I'll do my best not to ignore them and get them answered. And we'll all have a good time. We'll talk about Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency in the news. And I'll move crypto around and try to give you some live demos of the things I'm talking about. Hope to see you there. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again soon.